Alameda County judgment. Now, anyone that's paid careful attention as we have knows that the attorney for Johannes Messer, Michael Raines, has violated the gag order with impunity in Alameda County. Now, I don't know whether or not this judge will stop him in his tracks. Judge Jacobson kind of gently nudged him and joked with him about his violation of the gag order in Alameda County. He brought in, some might remember, into the preliminary hearings a newspaper and said, "Oh, Mr. Raines, I've read that you want to change a venue motion. And I've read that you feel that the court has been unfair, in words, to your client by use of the arrest of Mr. Mezzalina, the officers that brought him in." And I read this, Mr. Raines. Are these your words? Raines said, "I don't know, Your Honor, I haven't read the paper." Then he said, "Well, come on up here. Freshman, come on up here and read the paper." Then he asked him again, "Are these your words?" Well, he violated the gag order. He did not face any punitive measure in Alameda County Court, but they declare, at least in publications, that the new judge, I believe his name is Perry, is a lot more firm in the courtroom. And quite frankly, you could detect it in the way that he argued his issues, that he was a little less pliant with the goings-ons in that courtroom. It's the first time I heard him say that if I catch you texting people in the audience, pull out nothing. Like I said, if that cell phone comes out, in essence, you will go out, and that device will be confiscated. So the rulings around that courtroom are a little more strict. We should know when we go that it is not first come, first served seating. It's by lottery process, which is what they use for the O.J. case, the Michael Jackson case. It's the same kind of court setup. So when it was declared that Los Angeles was already preset to receive these kind of cases, that apparently was very true. Now, there were activists that received us. I don't know all the groups, Dave. Do you know the groups that were receiving us?
Well, the main group is coming together as the Los Angeles Coalition for Justice for Oscar Grant. And then there's a bunch of that representing other groups.
The Los Angeles Coalition for Justice for Oscar Grant. And before we left the courthouse, they worked out visits for Grant family and activists to speak to youth at Locke High School, which is a historical school. Some may know its most famous graduate, Patrice Rushen, I believe, and her musical introduction to her career came out of Locke High School. But Locke High School is in the deep part of Watts. I don't remember if it's Blood or Crip or a combination of the two, but it's a wonderful place. And the students held a rally. How did the rally go, Dave?
It went pretty well. To be honest, it was, maybe about 10 sort of brave students stood on this little stage that they had. And some of the other students, they were milling around at lunch. They didn't know what to make. And some were kind of clowning a little bit, and it was a little painful to see. But they stuck to their guns, and they kept talking on the bullhorn. And soon enough, more people came around and started asking questions. Well, let me know about we want to know about this case, or, my brother was shot by LAPD last week. And so it turned into a good thing, I think.
In fact, there were other victims of police brutality in that crowd, because I was told that there were several that wanted to meet us while we were in the courtroom who have lost loved ones to LAPD. Now, we were speaking with some about just the existence of homicides in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Los Angeles has a very high homicide rate. In fact, of course, we have here in Oakland 108 homicides in the last year, but I think LA is in the 400, 500, 600 range, which would mean, it does in fact mean that homicides in Los Angeles, unless there is some high-profile conflict, such as a drive-by shooting in front of a church or a child shot in a school, most of these homicides go unreported and unnoticed by many people. Included in that number are the many people that have suffered of police brutality at the hands of LAPD, and some of them were there to demonstrate their concern for justice for Oscar Grant, and I'm looking forward to organizing with us in the future. Here are some of the pertinent dates to keep in mind for those that would like to follow and support the court proceedings. February the 19th, where Attorney Raines is still working on the delay process. So he is striving to find a way to get Alameda County prosecutors off of the case. He's alleging that political pressure forced the Alameda County District Attorney's Office to do the wrong thing. So he's going to argue on February the 19th for Alameda County Court to recuse itself from this trial. His appeal that this judge would reduce the $3 million bail for Johannes Messerly to give him, I don't know what that gives him a chance to do. He's already home. Seems like he should be sitting like OJ sat and wait until his trial comes. But he is now seeking to, through another judge, to have the bail of Johannes Messerly reduced. Now, the next dates to keep our focus on are in May. What the judge did ask of the attorneys was, first, is there any question as to who shot Oscar Grant? Well, the answer is no. So we don't have to waste time trying to make those cases, right? With evidence and witnesses as to who shot Oscar Grant. So he said, okay, the only thing we're really needing to discover here is intent. They said yes. He said, well, how many days, Mr. Raines, will it take you to present your argument? Attorney Raines said 8 to 10 days. He asked the defense attorney, the prosecutor, how many days will it take you to present your argument? He stated 8 to 10 days. Court days. So we're looking at round about a month-long or so trial. So the judge, measuring the time that it may take for the trial, declared the date would not be as far out as many in Alameda County courts feared when they were told 6 months to a year from now. And he said that they would hope to begin the trial in mid-May. So God willing, by mid-May, we will do our part to help Los Angeles organize around the murder of Oscar Grant. The same kind of town hall we're having right here will need to happen in Los Angeles with the help of our family, community, and activists down there to make sure that the community is exceedingly well informed and as organized as best we can to ensure that this kind of tragedy never happens again. I read, by the way, in one of the newspapers before I returned, and I don't know who saw it, that one of Oscar's friends has joined or started an additional lawsuit against Bart, Johannes Messerly, Chief G, for $5 million, Brother John Two. And in response to John Two's additional lawsuit, the argument that Bart gave in response to his lawsuit. Had anybody read it or seen it? Go look for it. Because the argument was in gist that John Two is an ex-felon. And he, and in essence, his thug friends, did not cooperate with law enforcement on that night. And their actions are what precipitated the shooting of Oscar Grant. I'm putting this in my words. I want you to go get it out of it's in the local press. I'm not sure which day, but you just find the Bart lawsuit. Well, that's their argument for John Two. What then will be their argument